Good evening, London. You well? Fabulous. You are in very safe hands this evening. I've been doing comedy now for money and sex. It's going very well. I live in North London now, and a guy came up to me in the high street near where I live. He came up, he was all excited. He went, "Oh, I didn't recognise you." I said, "Yeah, you did." I should really have explained when I walked on as well. I look like this because my dad is Irish, and my mum is Roger Federer. Speaking of looks, we were watching proper BBC News the other day, and Liz Hurley came on the news. Not like that, obviously. But she was on the news. She was promoting some new TV show, and they did this thing. They would only get away with doing this on the news. They put her age after her name. So it said Liz Hurley, 50. And my girlfriend turned to me and went, "I hope I look that good when I'm 50. I said, "You don't look that good now." What do you think's going to happen? You're going to get to 49 and invent a time machine, are you? Best of luck. Liz Hurley's a good-looking woman. You'd agree with that, wouldn't you? Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be crude. Well, I don't want to be crude, but not till later on. I'll ease it in. It's a gift. Liz Hurley's a good-looking woman. Put it this way, I would ride her like a stolen bike. You look as if you may require further clarification there. So what I'm saying is I would crawl over broken glass to suck the cock of the last man that fucked her. You're all caught up. Ladies spend ages getting ready for a night out. Not all of them, obviously. No, you're probably in a hurry. Don't feel bad, I was just randomly point down to whoever sat there. So that is nothing more than a happy coincidence. You're laughing, but the eyes are fucking daggers. I'm in all kinds of trouble. My girlfriend spends ages getting ready for a night out. I'm not sure what she's getting ready for. Disappointment is my best guess. Nando's in a movie, that's our classic date night. And I love the cinema, don't get me wrong. Love the cinema. My only issue with the cinema, it's only a little thing, but I get annoyed by the popcorn. I think the popcorn in a cinema should have a very clear warning label on it saying may contain nuts. Because if you're with me, it might. I know you said you wanted salty. Wait. Because I've cut a hole in the bottom of the container, and I've placed it there, and I've shoved my genitals through the hole, and then when the lady I'm with has reached in to get popcorn, innocently enough, she's touched my genitals, and that's caused me to ejaculate. And it's that ejaculate that's caused the salty flavour you're so familiar with. I'm happy to explain any and all of these as we go through. It's clearly a mixed ability group. Horror films. Anyone else like horror films? I like watching horror films hiding behind the sofa, because that way my neighbours don't know I'm there. I like those black and white films where no one says anything. Interracial porn. Don't panic, I've checked and that one's fine. Flooding. We had pretty bad flooding last year. I saw a woman on the news in her flooded front room crying. I thought, crying's not helping. If anything, you're making matters worse, love. See, the flooding was pretty serious. We knew the flooding was serious because it happened in London. That's when you know it's serious. It's not as bad when it happens in the West Country, is it? Chance for them to get some use out of those webbed fingers. Oh, sorry, we're taping this evening for Netflix, so I should explain the West Country, sort of Louisiana. There you go. I'll translate as we go along. Is everyone in from the West Country? Yeah! Well, sorry, I didn't mean to ruin your romantic night out with your sister. I was just making a joke. Trying to have fun. Having fun. Last time we had a white Christmas, I made snow angels. I skidded on some ice and took out 3 pedestrians. I recently wrote a book about poltergeists, and I'm pleased to say it is flying off the shelves. Proper fucking jokes in this show. My friend said to me, "What rhymes with orange?" I said, "No, it doesn't." How do they get all those drugs into our jails? I guess they're smuggled in by some arsehole. For many of you a joke. You've just given me a look there as if to say, yes, how we do that. What's your fucking problem? What do you do for a living, sir? Have a little think. I mean, I'm not busy. Relax. Cool. You're an accountant? Where were you when I fucking needed you, mate? Eh? No good showing up now. No good showing up now. If you're watching this on Netflix in America, don't Google that. I'm a good guy. What a lot of comedians do on stage is they bullshit the audience. They'll tell an audience they've recently broken up with a girl. It's bullshit. The reason they do it is to elicit sympathy from attractive female audience members, so then after the show, they've got that sympathy in when they're chatting to them at the bar. They can try and sort of chat them up, try and pick them up, ultimately try and shag them. Rest assured, I would never do that because I think it would be disrespectful to the memory of my wife. I just need to be held. Have we got any Christians in? Is anyone here Christian? Christian, what's your name, sir? Andreas. Well, very nice to have you in. An offer just for you, Andreas. Would you be interested, Andreas, in buying some magic beans? I'm only asking you, Andreas, because you are fucking gullible. I'm sure Andreas won't mind me sharing that with the group. You know you are. You believe the story of a 14-year-old girl who finds herself pregnant, and when asked about the pregnancy, as well she might be, she goes this, know what you think? I was raped by a ghost. Really, Andreas? Fast forward 2,000 years. If that girl was from London and she was on Jeremy Kyle, would you believe it then? Would you fuck? I mean, you'd watch it, but you'd watch it thinking, Joseph, mug, Mary, slag. The Daily Mail would go mental, wouldn't they? Immigrant team, mum, benefits cheat, living in luxury shed. Have you declared that gold, frankincense and myrrh? Andreas, you don't look annoyed, you all right? You're fine, of course you are. I got a guy annoyed with that the other week. I did that bit of material, and there was a guy down the front, a middle-class guy, I got him really annoyed. And you could tell when you've annoyed someone middle-class, because they get a bit bobbly-headed. He had a point to make, and it was rattling around in his head. I said, what's your point? He said, I noticed you make those jokes about Jesus and the Christians, but would you say that about Muhammad or the Islamic faith, I wonder? I said, it's a very good point, well made. Have you thought about blowing something up? No one's scared of you. Seriously, what are you going to do, Andreas? Forgive me. I try not to censor myself on stage. I should say that early on. You know, if I think something's funny, I think you might think it was funny as well, and then we'll all have a laugh, release some endorphins, and the world will be a very slightly better place, yeah? And if anyone's offended, fuck them. But I wrote a joke recently that I worry about telling. I wrote a joke about the negative stereotypes that still prevail in our society concerning women. And I worry about telling that joke because I worry, well, if I were to tell that joke and it were to be misconstrued as genuine misogyny, it could really light the fuse on some bitch's tampon. I would feel awful. I'm not sexist. I've got nothing but respect for every woman I've ever slung one up. I'm quoting there, of course, that's a line from Pride and Prejudice. Spoiler alert, in the end, Mr. Darcy slings one up her. It's very good. Oh, here's an interesting fact. The most common superstition in Britain today is a belief in horoscopes, and there's a name for people that believe in horoscopes. They're called single women. Are there any single ladies in? Shout single ladies. If you were, who's the single lady down there? What's your name? Laura, what's your date of birth? What month? What star sign is that? Pisces. So February, and what's the exact date? The 26th. It's just you die alone. Normally this is a really upbeat bit of the show. 9 times out of 10, Mr. Right is just around the corner, but... Well, not alone, a cat eats your face, but it's not great news, is it? I really hope this hasn't ruined your last night out. So we should find out more. What do you do? You're a student, and what are you studying? Engineering. Where are you from? From China. But I'm fucking big in China. Well done me. Are you living here, or you're visiting and you decided, I'll tell you who I want to see, that fella. You've made a terrible decision. This is filth. You definitely didn't Google me in China, I'll tell you that for nothing. There's no way I made it past that firewall. Tremendous. Some people think it's good luck if a bird shits on them, and they're called German porn stars. You don't get it? Google it. I find most young women make a lot of noise in the bedroom. I guess they're not expected to see anyone at their window. Now, my job is writing jokes. All I've got to do for a living is write jokes. Pretty easy job to have. Now, sometimes I don't even have to do that. Sometimes you just overhear people saying something, and you think, well, I can just tell people what I overheard, and that's enough. Just report speech. That'll do. I had this happen recently. I was in a supermarket car park. You can find a more boring place to be. Just walking back to my car with a coffee, overheard these two men having a conversation. It was clearly going to be a fight, but it wasn't a fight yet. So as I walked by, I just heard a snippet of conversation. That is all I needed. I'll tell you what one man said to another man. We'll all have a laugh, and we'll move on with our lives. I heard one man say to another, "You can't park in a disabled bay, you spastic." Shut the front door. You can't park in a disabled bay, you spastic. How could you be that right? And